We're talking about how to speak more. I know many of you are very passionate about educating, and you have this desire to get in front of larger groups or better groups to be able to share things that will help them to make the changes in their life that can really impact them and will help you continue to grow your business. But you're thinking, how do I get on more speaking engagements? Maybe you're doing the same ones that aren't yielding results, or you're just trying to figure out, how do I get out of the same groups and start to expand into other audiences? So I want to give you 3 strategies today that can help you book more speaking engagements. Before we dive into the 3, the first thing I want you to think about is, what is your goal for speaking? So I think it always starts there, right? Of kind of understanding our goals and what our strategy is will help us to determine what makes sense for us and what actions we need to take. So think about how much of your business or how many leads you want to see coming from speaking engagements, if that's a priority for you. Some people are like, hey, I don't like speaking. That's fine. Doesn't have to be for everybody, but I know some of you are like me, that you have that performer in you that loves to get out there and be in front of audiences and help them make things easier for themselves and make some connections. So if you're like me, let me give you those 3 ways. Once you have that established of, hey, my goal is to bring in 25% of my production from speaking, or is to speak once a month, then you might think, okay, well, where am I at now? How am I going to fill that gap? These are the ways that you can fill that gap. Number 1, this is one of the simplest things. Was just talking with an advisor about this the other day. I was saying, just send an email or reach out via phone. We can still do that, to people that that either might be responsible for some kind of education, or maybe know someone who is, that they're one of your ideal clients currently. So you can reach out to them and do a simple email on the lines of, hey, I'm interested in learning a little bit more about what kinds of conferences do you attend? What networking events do you always make sure that you want to join? What podcast do you listen to? And then a secondary question is saying, hey, of those that you mentioned, do you know anybody who's maybe responsible for organizing those, or any other educational groups or events? And then once you get that response back, you can follow up with those that you think might be a good opportunity for you, where they can connect you maybe to that meeting organizer. So that can be great. Option number 1, always using your warm connections, right, that we have. And it'd be surprised maybe to find out in this day and age, how many people that are doing podcast or webinars, or know somebody who's responsible for organizing educational content or conferences and everything. There's a lot out there. That's a great place to start. The second one I want to give you is to how you can reach those meeting organizers. So things that can be really helpful is creating a video, like a why me video. If you're not able to use video in this instance, you could also do this via maybe a letter, or just in terms of your phoning language, some options of how you can incorporate this as well. But what you want to be thinking about and planning ahead of time is kind of what's your opening statement. Hey, I'm Jennifer Hensley. I'm the owner of Playmaker Coaching and Consulting. And, I've worked with financial advisors in the financial advisor industry for the last 20 years. So you want to start with something in terms of who you are. How do you know their audience? In addition to that, make sure that you thank the meeting organizer for what they do and how they serve their audience. Connect with them. It's always about building those relationships and making those connections first. Then talk about why you are a good fit. What's the problem that you solve? And this just goes like to anything else we talk about in marketing, of understanding the pain points of your audience and how you can solve that, and how you're different from maybe other options that are out there. Then make sure that you follow it up with like, hey, does this sound like a good fit for your audience? And I believe statement of why you are the right choice, or the solution that you have is the right choice for your audience. And then make sure that you close it with your name, your phone number, your email. How can people connect with you? Make it easy for them to take the next step, but also make sure that you don't wait for them to take the next step, that you always have those follow-ups in place too, to reach back out. It's the people that really follow up 3 times that get the bookings. So don't stop after just 1 or 2 kind of reach outs. It's those people that really follow up like 5 to 8 times that see significant numbers in terms of how many bookings that they're getting, how many speaking engagements they're getting. But make sure that you're brief. So keep it under 2 minutes. I know that's a lot to put in there. So that's why you got to practice ahead of time. So that's strategy number 2 is be very specific and very intentional about how you're reaching out to those meeting organizers or those educational content creators to get on their platform. You can also create a speaker kit to go with this to stand out. So some great things that you can do in that space. And then the final strategy I want to give you is how do you just identify maybe even who are those speaking engagements? Let's say you reach out to your network and you don't really find ones that are your ideal audience. The other piece is use your digital resources. Get on LinkedIn. Excuse me. Some of my old days coming back, LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn. Get on Facebook. Go to Google, search, or, one of the favorite things now, if you don't even want to do that, another option is using ChatGPT. I use this for a client of mine, a law firm client of mine. We were working on identifying some places that he can do some estate planning seminars. And we said, hey, identify 20 organizations within the Milwaukee metro area that focus on educational content for elderly, where you could present maybe an estate planning seminar. And it gave us ideas of community centers, retirement centers, libraries, different things. So that's a great place to kind of brainstorm some general ideas and not have to do as much with like sometimes dealing with Google or other platforms. But if you are on Google, you can search things like dental professionals conferences near me, top dental professional educational conferences, things along those lines to get an idea of what's coming up. Where might you be able to start to develop those relationships, reach out with those organizations? On Facebook, you can look for groups. Go in there and search for, physical therapist, women in finance or, things. And sometimes you might find ones that are more for the content creators, and some that you might find that are really more for just that community where they're connecting. So it can be great opportunities to start to establish yourself as a resource in those areas, make some connections, and lead to some speaking opportunities. So hopefully that gives you 3 ideas today that if you want to speak more, you want to generate more revenue and help more people through sharing your message, which is the thing that I believe we have the most control over, is sharing our message. This is how you can do it. So once again, reach out to your warm contacts. Ask them, what do they listen to? How can you connect in that space? Create a specific message to those meeting organizers on how you help solve their problems. And number 3, use your digital resources to find those opportunities. Let us know how it goes. If you need some more tools or resources around this topic, we work really closely with our clients on helping them to generate multiple sources of revenue, whether that's speaking or sponsorships or influencers, whatever that might look like for you. We want to be here to help you. Reach out to us any way we can help, and we'll be back next Tuesday talking more about how do you create more of that playbook for success in your business to stay in your position, score more ideal clients, and create more raving cans. I'm Jennifer Hensley. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.